What's good, everybody? Today we're going to be taking a look at how MSN became football's greatest trio. So MSN is what? Messi, Suarez, and Neymar. I'm excited about this. A lot of you have wanted me to react to MSN, and we haven't done that yet. Let's do it, baby. I'm excited. No real long intro this time.
In 2014, Barcelona got knocked out of the Champions League, the Copa del Rey, and finished second in La Liga. But just 1 year later, they won all three, lifting a historic treble. But for this to happen, Barcelona had to put together the deadliest front three in world football, with Lionel Messi, Luis Suarez, and Neymar Jr. terrorizing European football. But how did this all happen? Well, it started in 2013, when Lionel Messi was the main man at Barcelona.
Wait, is this an AI channel? I can never remember. Also, I just realized I didn't have the react screen up, but if there's a better video explaining this, let me know, because I don't know if this is an AI voiceover or not.
They had just won La Liga with a record-breaking 100 points, with Lionel Messi truly carrying the team, scoring 60 goals in the season. Barcelona's second top scorer was David Villa, who only scored 16 goals, meaning the pressure was all on the Argentine magician. Despite this record-breaking La Liga victory, Barcelona were embarrassed in the Champions League, losing 7-0 on aggregate to Bayern Munich, and they also lost the Copa del Rey. So Barcelona knew they couldn't keep relying on one man to win them games, and they decided something had to change. Luckily, at this time, there was a young winger playing in Brazil who was making waves in world football. At 22 years old, Neymar had already played 230 matches with 203 goals and assists for Santos. He was the next big Brazilian star and a perfect fit for this Barcelona team. So on the 3rd of June 2014, Neymar made a €57 million move to Spain, as Barcelona now had the second piece of the puzzle.
Wait, how much is that, like, in the football world? Like, is that like one of the most expensive signings of all time? Because that's crazy. 57 million. Damn.
Puzzle in place. This next season at Barcelona was a transitional one. David Villa, who was the second top scorer, left for their rivals Atletico Madrid, which meant this Neymar transfer had to work even more. Thiago left for Bayern Munich, and big players like Puyol and Xavi were getting older, which is a big reason why this season played out as it did. In the Champions League, they made it to the quarterfinals, where they faced Atletico Madrid. The first leg saw a 1-1 draw with a Neymar goal, but Barcelona ended up losing the second leg 1-0, meaning they only made it to the last 8. In the Copa del Rey, the final was played out between Barcelona and Real Madrid, making for a historic El Clasico match. But Real Madrid were able to get the better of their rivals this time round, as they closed the game with a 2-1 victory. And then, to top it all off, this La Liga season came down to the final game, where
Can we just talk about this stadium, bro? Good God almighty, man, this is beautiful. This is so freaking gorgeous. I love this. I love this. Sorry, I saw this and I had to pause, man.
To top it all off, this La Liga season came down to the final game, where Atletico Madrid played against Barcelona, and they were only 3 points apart at the top of the table. Atletico Madrid held out for a 1-1 draw and managed to lift La Liga, meaning Messi and Neymar had missed out on all 3 major trophies that season. Neymar ended his first season in Spain with 15 goals in 41 games. Messi showed a decrease in output from the previous year, scoring 41 goals, but both of them faced injuries in the second half of the season, and all in all, this was a frustrating year for Barcelona.
I mean, it's funny saying he saw a decrease in performance and it's just 41 goals. Like, that's still a damn good amount of goals, but for Messi levels at the time, that's you know, that's subpar, I guess you could say, right?
As there was just something missing. But little did they know they were one bite away from the promised land, and within just one season, everything was going to change. On the 1st of July 2014, Barcelona appointed Luis Enrique as their new manager, and he began by making some significant changes within the squad. He signed 2 goalkeepers in Claudio Bravo and Ter Stegen. Cesc Fabregas and Alexis Sanchez were both sold to Premier League clubs to free up some cash, which they used to sign Ivan Rakitic, and the final piece to the puzzle, Luis Suarez. This Suarez transfer was an interesting one, to say the least. He was arguably the best striker in the world at the time, having come off the back of a historic season with Liverpool. He almost won the Premier League and finished as the league's top scorer, breaking the goal-scoring record. He'd spent 4 seasons at Liverpool, where he scored 82 goals in 133 appearances, and
I gotta say, man, I mean, going back to that 60 goal thing in 1 season, This is 4 seasons for 82 goals. Like, I'm not comparing the two. I'm just saying that is such an insane thing, like feat to even think about, man. Wow.
Barcelona were able to get him for £75 million, a bargain for the quality of player they were getting, but they were only able to get this bargain because Suarez signed while serving a 4-month ban for professional football. Suarez had just taken part in the 2014 World Cup where Uruguay faced Italy, and Luis Suarez decided to bite the Italian defender Giorgio Chiellini. This meant that Suarez wasn't allowed to play football until the 26th of October, but he...
All right, wait. Why did he bite him? You know, he plays for Inter Miami right now. And during the Leagues Cup, like, I think it was like semifinals, there's a fly in my room. I did not get the fly. But anyway, during the Leagues Cup, I think it was like semifinals. Or was it the finals? It might have been the finals, yeah. He spit on some of the Seattle Sounders like staff after the game was over, and there was like a fight that broke out and everything. Does he have a history of just like being mad aggressive with people? A lot of you have been wanting me to react to him. You want me to react to his highlights or just his story?
He was still allowed to train and instantly began to build a connection with his new teammates. So, heading into the start of the new season, Luis Enrique was at the helm. Neymar had a year of experience in Spain. Messi was the same world-class player as before, and Suarez was sitting in the shadows, eager for his debut to arrive. Simply put, Barcelona were ready to cook. They opened the season on the 24th of August with a 3-0 victory against Elche with a brace from Lionel Messi, and the team would go on to build on this momentum throughout the start of the season.
What's a brace? That's a word I've heard many times that I've not looked it up yet.
On the 27th of September, they put 6 goals past Granada with Neymar's first hat-trick of the season, a brace from Lionel Messi, and a goal from the new signing Rakitic. The opening portion of the season was electric for Barcelona. Neymar and Messi were on fire, but they were just waiting for their number 9 to join the party. And on the 25th of October, Barcelona played their first El Clasico of the season, and Luis Suarez made his debut. But this game didn't go as they hoped. Neymar bagged a goal to give Barcelona an early lead, but Cristiano Ronaldo, Pepe, and Karim Benzema each got a goal to win the game 3-1, handing Barcelona their first defeat of the league campaign. Just 6 days later, things would go from bad to worse as Barcelona lost against Celta Vigo and now found themselves 4th in the league table. But despite this rough patch, this team was just charging up as Messi, Suarez, and Neymar were still getting used to playing with each other. And once things fell into place, MSN would kick into gear and really start the first of 3 historic seasons playing together. Luis Suarez looks back on this time and says that the turning point this season was the tactical shift, because initially Messi was playing as a false 9 with Suarez and Neymar on the wings, but once Messi moved on to the right, Neymar on the left, and Suarez down the middle, MSN was born. And as the turn of the year came, they went on an 11-game winning streak until the 21st of February, where they suffered a defeat to Malaga. They would bounce back as they played Manchester City in the first knockout round of the Champions League, winning 3-1 on aggregate, putting them into the quarterfinals. And just 4 days later, on the 22nd of March, they played the second El Clasico of the season, this time winning 2-1, which put Barcelona 4 points at the top of the table. By the 11th of April, this lead would drop to only 2 points as they drew against Sevilla. But by this point in the season, Barcelona were still in all competitions and had the chance of winning the lot.
Yeah, they were still so ahead
in Catalonia, and this was further amplified with a 5-1 aggregate victory in the Champions League against PSG, where Suarez bagged a brace and Neymar bagged 3 goals over the 2 matches.
I will forever just giggle every time I see PSG, not because I think they're bad or anything, but I've got a running joke with myself now that all roads eventually lead to PSG because of how many players go from Barca to PSG or other clubs to PSG. I know it's not really anything uncommon, but it's just so funny to me, man. All roads eventually lead to PSG.
Barcelona were just getting better and better, winning 6-0 against Getafe at the end of April, with Messi and Suarez both bagging a brace and Neymar with 1 goal. Then, in just the next match, Barcelona won 8-0 with a Suarez hat-trick, Messi brace, and a Neymar goal, as this front 3 was now being labeled the greatest trio in Europe. On the 6th of May, Barcelona faced off against Bayern Munich, and this is a game that has gone down in history as Neymar scored 1 and Messi scored 2, with Messi's second goal being one of his greatest ever as he sat Jerome Boateng on the floor before chipping the goalkeeper. Barcelona lost the second leg 3-2, but it was enough for them to still make it to the final. A couple of weeks later, Barcelona collected the first of 3 trophies that season as they defeated Atletico Madrid 1-0, securing them the La Liga title. 2 weeks later, Barcelona played the Copa del Rey final, where Barcelona won the game 3-1, with Messi scoring another truly great goal as he dribbled from half-pitch, toying with the defenders before slotting the ball in the bottom corner. Now, with 1 game left to play in the season, this Barcelona team were eager to become eternal, and that is exactly what they did as they beat Juventus 3-1 in the Champions League final, thanks to goals from Rakitic, Suarez, and Neymar in order to lift the 3rd trophy of the season.
They lifted 3 trophies in the span of like, what, a month and a half? Oh my God.
And complete the treble. Barcelona became the first team in Europe to win 2 trebles, and a lot of the credit goes down to this attacking trio. Suarez scored 25 goals in 43 games, Neymar scored 39 goals in 51 games, and Messi scored 58 goals in 57 games, which added up to 122 goals for the season, breaking the scoring record for an attacking trio. But just 1 year later, MSN would manage to break this record that they just set as they were entering the second of 3 historic seasons together.
Oh my God.
2015-16.
This sounds like the Miami Heat in 2011 to 13, literally unbeatable. What the fuck? This is nuts.
Second of 3 historic seasons together. Heading into the 2015-16 season, the squad remained basically the same, with the only notable exit being Xavi, who retired from professional football. Barcelona started the season as they'd finished the previous one, strong and firing on all fronts, but at the end of September, they faced a big blow as Lionel Messi picked up a knee injury, leaving him out for 6 weeks. If this happened in 2013, Barcelona would be stranded without a star attacker, but now Neymar and Suarez were more than capable of doing the job.
Yeah, they can pick up the slack.
November, Barcelona played their first El Clasico of the season as they thrashed Real Madrid 4-0, thanks to a brace from Suarez and goals from Neymar and Iniesta.
Now that goes to show, this is such an awkward video to pause at certain times because they just kind of keep going and going, which is why I'm wondering if it's AI. But that being said, that is such an insane thing to think that there was a point in the time where a team like this, which heavily relied on Messi, could finally go without having to heavily rely on Messi because they had other players that were just as good to keep up with everything that's already happening on the pitch. Like they didn't have to rely on him, man. That's crazy, because there's certain teams out there, when their star player gets injured, things don't really go that well. You know what I'm saying? But it's nice to see that they had enough of a stacked roster to pick up the slack, or, you know, fill up any gaps. I mean, 4-0-ing Real Madrid with no Messi that's crazy.
This season progressed, Luis Suarez continued to grow, picking up more and more goals, and this season is where we would see Luis Suarez cement himself as the best striker in world football. At the turn of the year, Lionel Messi was handed the Ballon d'Or for the year of 2015, making it the 5th in his career, and Barcelona just kept on winning. They were currently on a historic unbeaten streak, and on the 3rd of March, thanks to a 5-1 throbbing over Rayo Vallecano, they set the Spanish record for 35 games in a row unbeaten, breaking the record that was held by Real Madrid since 1989. And Arsenal in the Champions League, and they were now starting to see the possibility of another treble. But April would prove to be a difficult month for Barca as they started with an El Clasico defeat, which ended their record 39-game unbeaten run. They were then knocked out of the Champions League by Atletico Madrid as they lost 3-2 on aggregate, and this started a Barcelona losing streak as they lost 3 La Liga games in a row. Within just 3 weeks, the entire season was being put into doubt, but on the 20th of April, Barcelona, and particularly Luis Suarez, weren't ready to give up that easily.
I wonder if like just that loss to Real Madrid just like put some insane amount of pressure on them. It was probably the Champions League loss more than anything. They probably started overthinking their plays, like overthinking their decision making. Obviously, I had to go back and watch the games to like just really see like how they played out. But I wonder if that's just kind of what happened. Like they just started overthinking every single little thing, because that happens in a lot of sports. You know, you get on this really big hot streak. There was a team in Counter-Strike, Vitality. They started this year off on a 7-tournament win streak, which is unbelievably ridiculously hard to do in Counter-Strike. And then they went on like a 5-tournament losing streak, which is Crazy. And mind you, they started this season off, like the first half of this year, I think they went 34 best of threes in a row without losing any of them, mind you, which is, again, brutally hard to do in esports. But it's interesting though. I just wonder what their mindset was at the time.
3 La Liga games in a row. Within just 3 weeks, the entire season was being put into doubt. But on the 20th of April, Barcelona, and particularly Luis Suarez, weren't ready to give up that.
He said, I'm not losing this.
Suarez scored 4 goals and assisted 3 in an 8-0 victory to end their losing streak. 3 days later, Suarez scored 4 more goals in a 6-0 victory over Sporting Gijón, and this form continued through the back end of the season.
Man.
On the 14th of May, the final game of the season, Barcelona had to win to lift a league title, and a big game like this called for a performance from none other than Luis Suarez, who bagged a hat-trick to lift his 2nd league title in a row. 8 days later, Barcelona played the Copa del Rey final, beating Sevilla 2-0 in extra time to make it a double for the season. Somehow, this season MSN got even better than the last, as they picked up 130 goals and 77 assists in 128 games together. Suarez was the star man this year, as he scored 59 goals and recorded 26 assists, as he won the European Golden Boot and became the first player to ever finish as La Liga top scorer and assister. But despite this amazing season for Barcelona, there was a power shift happening in Spain, as Real Madrid were looking to fight back against this Barcelona dominance under their new manager Zinedine Zidane, who had
there he is.
Just won the Champions League in his first season. So MSN were going to have to produce magic once again to be able to fight off this new Spanish super team. Heading into the 2016-17 season, Dani Alves left the club after 8 great seasons there, and Neymar signed a new 5-year contract, which would see him playing in Spain until 2021. But as this season would progress, Neymar would get second thoughts about his future in Barcelona. But for now, Barca started off electric, kicking off La Liga with a 6-2 win against Betis, with a hat-trick from Suarez and a brace from Messi.
Why did he? Well, you know, now that I think about it though, some of the videos that we watched around Neymar, is it true that he was just kind of tired of like being in the shadow of Messi? Is that true? Because Messi eventually goes to PSG and they play again with Mbappe. So was that the reason? Huh.
Even the Champions League season started strong for Barcelona, specifically with a 7-0 win against Celtic, where Messi bagged a hat-trick and Neymar got 4 assists as MSN continued their fine form. On the 15th of December, Luis Suarez also negotiated a contract extension that would keep him playing till 2021, so at this point in time, MSN was here to stay, which was not a good sign for other European teams. This season overall wasn't Barcelona's best season, but the key moment this year was the Champions League round of 16 tie against PSG. Barcelona played the first leg away in Paris, where they were demolished 4-0, which really should have been enough to seal the tie. But when the second leg was played at the Camp Nou, something magical was in the air. Suarez scored early to make it 1-0, and in the 40th minute, Barca made it 2-0 thanks to CORSAIR's own goal. There was now hope heading into the second half, which was quickly amplified with a penalty falling into the hands of Lionel Messi. 10 minutes later, Cavani got a crucial away goal for Paris, which meant that Barcelona would have to score 3 to go through, a seemingly impossible task. In the 88th minute, Neymar scored a free kick. In the 91st minute, Neymar scored a penalty, and then, with seconds left on the clock, Neymar whipped a free kick into the box, where Sergio Roberto was able to tap the ball into the net, as Barcelona completed one of the most dramatic comebacks in football history.
We are possibly going to have to react to that. And if it gets copyright striked into oblivion, so be it, because that I need to see that game.
This was such an impossible victory that Neymar went on to get a tattoo saying 1% chance, 99% faith to celebrate this game. After this, Barcelona felt unstoppable, thinking they were back on top of the world, but things started to go wrong from here. Luis Enrique had announced he will be leaving the club at the end of the season, meaning change was coming, and Barcelona were knocked out of the Champions League in the next round by Juventus, marking the end to their European campaign. Now at this point, the league title was in Real Madrid's hands, but a historic 3-2 victory on the 23rd of April would give Barcelona hope that they could complete the La Liga three-peat. On the 14th of May,
I've seen that picture so many times, and I think I actually watched a little bit of that on probably one of the like Messi movies that we watched, if I'm not mistaken. But I've seen this picture 1,000 times. I love it.
The La Liga three-peat. On the 14th of May, with 2 games to go, Barcelona beat Las Palmas 4-1, where Neymar bagged a hat-trick in order to send the title race to the final game of the season. But the title was still in Real Madrid's hands, and despite winning the final game, Barcelona weren't able to clinch La Liga, as Real Madrid had now shifted the tide of Spanish dominance, picking up La Liga and their second Champions League in a row. Enrique's men played the final game of the season on the 27th of May, as Barcelona were able to defeat Alaves 3-1 in the Copa del Rey, winning it for the 3rd year in a row. But that's all they were left with for the season. They went from treble to double to just the cup, as this golden era was coming to an end. MSN had another great season, statistically combining for a total of 111 goals, where Messi bagged almost half of them with 54. Suarez chipped in with 37, and Neymar got 20 goals as he moved into a more of a creative role this season. At this point, Neymar was starting to believe that as long as he remained in Barcelona, he would always live in the shadow of Lionel Messi.
Okay, so that's what I was wondering.
Signed a 5-year contract this season, he looked for an exit to try to become the best player in the world and hoped to lift the Ballon d'Or. So on the 3rd of August 2017, PSG broke the world record transfer fee to sign Neymar, with the idea that he would now step into the role of being the team's main man. Unfortunately for Neymar, this didn't quite go to plan. He was a great player for Paris, but never lived up to the player he hoped to become. As for Barcelona, they pretty much wasted the Neymar money on Coutinho and Dembele, who were both unable to leave a mark at the club.
That is actually so insane. The Dembele part, that is actually crazy looking at the timeline that we're in now. What?
But never lived up to the player he hoped to become. As for Barcelona, they pretty much wasted the Neymar money on Coutinho and Dembele, who were both unable to leave a mark at the club. Suarez remained in Barcelona until 2020, where he was then pushed aside and opted for a move to Atletico Madrid, and Lionel Messi remained in Spain until 2021, when he signed for Paris to reunite with Neymar. But unfortunately, they could not rekindle the same fine form they had together at Barcelona. Now, Neymar is playing in the Saudi League, and Messi and Suarez have been reunited in the MLS, playing for Inter Miami, as the 3 of them are past their prime and slowing down their careers.
I mean, bro, it's ironic hearing this and then knowing that Messi just got player of the MLS. Like, I only know that too because I was watching obviously I keep up with it now, but it's funny seeing like past their prime and Messi still doing, it's the MLS, but he's still doing great things. That's crazy, man.
Barcelona have now well and truly lost their spot as top dogs in Spain, as the 3 years of MSN are now looked back on as some of Barca's best years, with the trio combining for a total of 371 goals and picking up countless trophies in that time. What a trio. Now, if you want me to make a video on the Zidane era at Real Madrid, subscribe. And until then, you should watch the video on screen now.
So that was the MSN era, huh? I feel like there's got to be more videos out there that give a little bit more detail. This channel makes some pretty good videos, and I'm gonna be kind of dumb for judging them considering I'm just like reacting. But I definitely want to watch more about the MSN era. So if there's a very specific video, which I think you guys have suggested some, I'll look through my notes and obviously react to it. I've heard a lot about this era. I didn't know it was this crazy. I mean, they won what, like 7 trophies? I think 371 goals across 3 players in just a few seasons is kind of insane when you think about it. Do you guys think that it was a mistake for Neymar to go to PSG, or do you think he should have stayed at Barcelona? I feel like if your mindset is already, I don't really want to be in the shadow of other players anymore, then at that point, you're probably not going to be giving it your best, I would assume, at your, like if you stayed at Barcelona in Neymar's case. If that's where your mindset is, you're probably not really going to be giving it your all to begin with anyway if you decide to stay with Barcelona. That might be one of the biggest what ifs in history. What if Neymar just stayed with Barcelona and kind of let that feeling go? Who knows, man? It's crazy to see that Messi is still doing big things alongside Suarez in the MLS. I mean, say what you will. It's just the simple fact that this brother is about to be 40 and he's still breaking records. Same with Ronaldo, who is still breaking records. I mean, good God almighty, man. I want to see more about this era though, so I'm going to be doing some more research. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this reaction, it was a little bit more on the chill side because this was a straight yapathon of a video. That's a joke, by the way. I know I yap a lot. But anyway, I'm looking forward to react to another football video. If you enjoyed this, leave a like on it, sub to the channel for more content. As always, this has been your boy Jay. I'll catch you later. Hope you have a great day. Peace.